recording on this computer. This will be up in the meeting archive in about an hour, along with a little summary of the meeting. So all of you will be able to get that. We also cut it apart and do different parts of it in social media, which again, I will give to Maria. I'm just saying that as a mental note. Daniel, remember, we need to give a copy to Maria as promised. And I got to keep my promises here. And we're going to be getting into all the good stuff. You know, everyone who's coming here, for those that are new, my name is Ed. I am a realtor who runs the Edmund Bogen team at Douglas Elliman Real Estate here in South Florida. I'm also a real estate coach. I work one-on-one with many of you to be able to try and focus in on what you need to do to grow your business with a little bit of a twist. We actually handle a lot of the admin side of it. So we're actually getting databases and skip tracing those databases and testing some of the work. So really, depending upon what you want done, it's something that we might want to talk about. Okay, so that's the commercial portion of what I have to say. Today, we're going to be speaking with Maria Babaev. She is a top producer on Long Island and a friend. I've seen her many, many times. She's certainly, the first thing I knew about Maria was I met her by reputation, as so many of you actually do, that there is, yeah, I heard of that person. That's really what it kind of was with Maria. It was just kind of a reputation. And it's a reputation that she's worked very hard to maintain and to earn. My objective for every one of you in this meeting today, Maria included, by the way, is that you could take the information that you gather from these meetings and you can immediately bring it back to your office and use that information to make money. That's what we really want you to do. We want you to be able to use this information, take little golden nuggets of information. I could introduce you to people like Maria and to other agents, people that make $1 million a year plus selling real estate, and you'll find 5 different people have 5 very different ways. That's kind of the beauty of what we are doing here. Don't you agree? Maybe? Kind of, sort of?
Yes.
It's kind of nice. Thank you. I was waiting for an actual yes. Good. It's kind of nice. So we do have this great opportunity to learn from one another. I want to get to Maria in a second. First of all, Maria, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Ed. How are you?
Good
morning, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good morning.
I know we're all in a different time zones.
And we've got Eitan, it's dinner time. So good evening, Eitan. He's in Portugal now. And I think we've got someone in Iceland. So we got a bunch of people in a bunch of places. We're going to get right into it and find out just what makes you click. But first of all, why don't you tell us just the 1,000-foot view, who you are, how long you've been in real estate, and what you're serving right now.
Before we talk about me, I want to acknowledge you and what you do for the real estate community across the nation. It's absolutely incredible. I did mention that to you, how much I value and admire your contribution. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows that we all thank you very much for your commitment to everyone's success and for your commitment to continue to grow together as an industry and as realtors and real estate professionals.
And realtors, just so you know, realtors, that's why she's my favorite. That's why you're my favorite. Okay, we got this. Hold on, I'm trying to get like the balloons or something out here. Anyway, we got balloons.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to your incredible group of real estate professionals across the nation. I really appreciate everyone's time and my commitment to you guys that at least you can take away 1 or 2 things that you can apply to your businesses immediately. I'm all about value. I know how busy everyone is, and so I appreciate your time coming to this meeting today. My name is Maria Babaev. I'm a luxury real estate broker servicing beautiful estates on North Shore of Long Island primarily. We are a team of 7 people, and all my 7 people have been with me for the last 10 years. I'm with Douglas Elliman for the last 12 years. In the business, I started in 2002, so it's been 22 beautiful years. Prior to my real estate career, I was actually on Wall Street. I have an MBA in finance, and I used to manage portfolio of 130 banks located in Central and Eastern Europe, primarily countries of the former Soviet Union, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Russia, which used to be one country, and now it's 16 different countries. countries. I loved my Wall Street years. I had to travel a lot on business and be away from my family. And when children came into my life, I made a shift and started building my real estate practice. At that time, we moved to North Shore of Long Island, and the rest is history. I'm really privileged to service my clients and feel very fortunate and grateful to be part of their lives, pretty much in the middle of the biggest decisions that they make, to sell, to buy, to move to the next chapter of their lives. And that's what we've been doing for the last 2 decades plus.
Sure. Well, I want to get right into the how you're doing it, but I'm just very curious, having such an MBA and experience on Wall Street, how much of your past are you bringing to your present today? In other words, were the Wall Street connections that you had the initial kind of nucleus of deals, and how did that, just let's talk about that. How did that come into play?
That's a great question. I think initially it was, I mean, it's really helpful on a daily basis, but when I started building my business, it was extremely helpful. First of all, when I moved to a real estate career, at that time, a lot of clients from Russia were purchasing homes in New York and just across the nation. And I really, when I moved to Long Island, I was very new to real estate. So I had to compete pretty much immediately with someone who was born on Long Island, raised on Long Island, belonged to all these fancy country clubs on Long Island, and had incredible networks and sphere of influences. And as we know, 80% of your business primarily comes from your sphere. I had none of that. So I really had to figure out very quickly how to build that and also how to differentiate myself. So I started taking ads in local newspaper, if you believe it. And I started, putting sentences in Russian just to kind of differentiate myself, because every second page in local newspaper is the advertising from a realtor. And so that's how initially I started kind of getting those calls, because luxury and international really go hand in hand in our business.
And you got business from that? So advertising in Russian in a US publication. This is a good one.
Correct. That's what I did. And you can apply it in any language just to kind of catch that attention. Did I get business? I definitely got attention. And what I did consistent marketing and advertising. It was not one-off. It was across the board. It was very strategic marketing campaign. Also, I was a liaison between brokers. At that time, I was working for another company. They were opening up franchises in countries of the former Soviet Union. So the potential, not even buyers, but the brokers that are purchasing these franchises, they were coming to US, and I was hosting them, showing them properties, touring them around luxury inventory. And that certainly got the word out that there's a new player in town, I guess. And so the rest is history. It's really no secret. It's just a lot of hard work, dedication, strategic approach, and hanging in there.
Sure. And hanging in there indeed. Just to digress for one moment, and to bring your Russian ad, because I wasn't planning on asking you this, and I think it's interesting. We did a Facebook campaign with as close to the verbiage as we could in English, in Spanish, or in Spanish, in Portuguese, and in German. Now I'm going to get the numbers wrong a bit because it's been a couple of years, but the Portuguese ad on Facebook cost about 3 cents a lead. The Spanish ad cost about a quarter a lead. The English speaking ad was about $4.50 a lead. And the German, we had German in there, $15 a lead. Now, for those of you who have who are not muted, please mute. Candy, if you don't mind muting yourself, that would be great. So if you could take a look at this, the $15 lead one absolutely was the strongest pull of what we had. So it's very interesting to see that if you speak a language and you want to advertise in your area in that language, it might be a very interesting test, something that we should talk about. Anyway, go on. I didn't want to.
No, it's I just want to build on what you said, because you now talking about marketing and advertising 20 years later. I just really did the print advertising. But that being said, what I learned, again, luxury and international always go hand in hand, okay? All of your clients, especially luxury clients, they are looking for that international exposure, and just positioning your properties, your listings online. And by the way, even through realtor.com/international, all of our homes are positioned to the international community. That immediately will give you tremendous credibility as an international broker. So there's also metrics. There's Google Analytics that you can see how many people clicking on your property from which country. And if you present that to your clients, again, right away, that will elevate and differentiate you from the rest of the competition.
Wow. Daniel, make note, we need to do a meeting on Google Analytics. We've done Google business pages, which we could revisit as well. But thank you, Maria. You just gave us a topic for sometime in July or August. We'll see.
My pleasure, and I'll be happy to share everything I know about it.
So let's bring it full circle. You got the recognition, and it was a very honest answer, by the way, because he didn't say there was a watershed of business, but people got noticed. How has that moved you forward, and how much of your business is on the international realm?
My business primarily consists of local and national buyers and sellers. International, we've had clients from Central Eastern Europe. We had clients from Asia, and every time I get this question, my question goes back. So is this Russians from Russia or Russians from Brooklyn, New York? Is this Chinese from China or Chinese from Flushing, New York? So it's all depends, because, once the person speaks different language, we consider them being an international, but this could be someone who already moved into this country or the family is here. So I think it's challenging to differentiate what's international and what's not. To me, the luxury client, whether they're local, national, or international, they're very savvy, they're very well traveled, where they speak the language or not. If they speak with accent, it doesn't mean that they think with accent. They're very smart, they're very resourceful, they have layers of advisors. So to me, it's even more important to be prepared and provide information and educate them. They might not necessarily be aware the way we do business in this country, because in different countries, real estate is conducted very, very differently. So to me, once I have someone international, I kind of shift to the educator and not so much the realtor first, okay? And then once you provide that value in terms of education and information, they typically will be converted into the buyer. Once you start dealing with international community, it's extremely important to educate yourself, but even more important to surround yourself with the team of advisors, of the international tax advisors, of immigration attorneys, because these transactions are a lot more involved and a lot more complicated, both on the sale and even more importantly, on the purchase. So is it a corporation? Is it a private name? Where the funds are coming from? And when they're selling, there's FERC that gets involved. So we can probably have entire meeting on that. And but my point is, no matter where you at, you have to continuously raise the bar and continuously learn and educate yourself, whether you're dealing with local, national, and more importantly, when you're dealing with the international client.
The first thing that I think about when I think of you, okay, this is just the knee-jerk reaction. Obviously beautiful. I mean that in a professional, non-sexually harassing way. There, I can't go any farther than that,
I'll take it.
Aside from that, but more than beautiful, well-coiffed, well-spoken. No one will question what you do. In other words, you walk and carry yourself with an air of authority. Was that something that you had built? Was that something that you had, is that something like, for example, I oftentimes say, I want people to know that I'm a father. Anyone who follows me on social media, why? Because people usually trust dad, unless you had a lousy dad, in which case I got a good psychologist for you. But as far as being able to get the brand, my brand is always like the trusting dad. You see a lot of images of my daughters. My wife doesn't like to be on social media. So we have all that. How much have you thought about your brand when you wake up in the morning and when you actually go out and put Maria on, both as a speech and as a look?
Um,
Was that a zinger?
well, so I think there's a lot of questions in one, so I'm trying to see which one I should and will answer first. I think number one, my brand is integrity. Okay, I am not your typical broker that sings sweet songs and tell clients what they want to hear just to get their business. My strategy and the way I conduct business is integrity across the board. Okay, and sometimes I lose business because of that, because I'm very honest and I express my opinion, and some brokers come in and overprice the property and get the listing and then reduce it later and get the sale. But that's okay, because I'm not going to change who I am because of some external circumstance. So that's number one. Also, as realtors, it's interesting because in the very beginning of my career, I kind of struggle a little bit with where business ends and personal begins and vice versa. Okay, I think we all have that, what you just said, because we wear so many different hats. Our clients see us only as real estate brokers. And of course, real estate is a huge part of our lives, but it's not all of our lives. We have children, we have spouses, we have parents, we have sisters, brothers, friends, so on and so forth. And to me, when I was trying to figure out Saturday, for example, my son is a baseball player. He just committed to play Division I baseball for Tulane University. So for the last 10 years, it's been, thank you, it's been a lot of work and a lot of travel and a lot of time and commitment. And so in the beginning, okay, so it's the weekend. Do I go and be with my son on the baseball field, or do I go show properties? Or do I go to the office to follow up with the phone calls? Like, where is that business ends and personal begins? And I was struggling to really differentiate. And then I realized that these two universes collide for us as realtors. You can't really separate, because this could be your friend, and tomorrow they're buying a house, so they become your client. Or this could be your client that came through the open house, and now you're selling them the property, but you connected so well on a personal level. Now you're going out for a drink, so it became a friendship. So to me, when I allow these two universes to collide and stop kind of figuring out, am I a mother right now, or I'm a real estate broker, or who am I this minute, that's when magic happened, because I realized that I can be on a baseball field and talk real estate, okay? Or I can be in the office or at dinner or whatever else with clients, and then we discuss something that not real estate related. So I think right now, 20 plus years later, a lot of things just come naturally, but the confidence level certainly comes with experience, expertise, and education. And even though I'm very blessed and successful, my head is not big at all. I am a student of life. I understand that we're an ever-changing industry, especially in today's date. And in order for us to continue to stay relevant, nothing is given, and you have to continue to educate yourself.
Yes, so the market is shifting. The market's shifting for us here in Florida. The market shift, and I should also add that you are licensed in the state of Florida.
I am here.
Got to get that as
What
well.
time? No, thank you.
Okay, just remind everyone you're on a live mic here, so thank you.
Okay.
But so how are you staying relevant in a shifting market? What advice would you give to folks here that might be struggling with that?
So a few things, and I will make it very easy to remember, because there's a 3 M's. And since my name is Maria, you can remember that advice. In the shifting market, I think it's very important to concentrate on 3 things. Number 1 is mindset, okay? Because the biggest shift has to happen between our ears, in our head, all right? And I think if we continue to stay strong in our mindset, okay, then again, magic happens. Second M is motivation. It is challenging to stay motivated when your deals are falling apart or when, you know, certain things are happening. And how do we stay motivated? We have to go back to that big why. And big why for Ed might be completely different for, you know, than for Maria or for Jen or for Paula. Different people have different motivations. Whatever that big why is for you, go back to that. And that's what will continue to move you forward.
Okay.
And the third M is actually methodology. What's methodology? Fundamentals. When going gets tough, it's time to go back to the basics, okay? Because we are, as realtors, we are so quick to run after the new shiny tool, new shiny app, this, that, and another thing, and we completely forget what we have. We have our sphere of influences. We have people that know us, that like us, that want to work with us, okay? And so to me, going back to the basics is probably the foundation of success in any market, especially in a shifting market. So lead generation, right, is that four-letter word. So the biggest challenge in a shifting market, how do we convert the four-letter word lead into the four-letter word deal, which is the same four letters if you realize.
Wow, I love that. I love that. Thank you. Okay, I got to write that down. Okay, go on. I'm sorry. Those two.
That's the biggest thing. Concentrate, you know, really hands-on approach. Do not run in so many different directions. Stay focused on your lead generation process and how to convert these leads into deals. And again, this is no secret to success. We, you know, all of us that being in the business for some time, it's a cycle. It's yet another cycle. And in our business, it's time to plant the seeds and it's time to harvest. For the last couple of years, it was time to harvest. Okay, and we all did really well, but we cannot continue to move on and do business pretending it's still 2021 or 2022. It's not. Okay, so now is the time to plant seeds. How do you plant seeds? Go back to basics. Continue to generate these leads, nurture them, and convert leads into deals.
Sure. Let me ask you this. I mean, while you're mentioning it, you mentioned I wanted to go back to the baseball game with your son. Is the meter ever off? In other words, you know, fortunately, I think you and I are similar in that we really enjoy what we do, and that's great. And I think there's a difference between working on a client that you're not pleased with and one that makes you want to do everything for them. They're just so wonderful. But do you ever disconnect like entirely?
That's a great question. And it's a very relevant question. I just came back from Japan, which is 13-hour time difference. And so conducting business in New York and being in a completely different world was very challenging. Did I ever disconnect? I think that I do have a luxury to do so, but I am so intimately and intuitively connected to my business that even if my phone is off, I kind of know exactly what's going on. I also have a very good team that having a team now for the last 12 years, and that's when I really built my team when I moved to Douglas Elliman 12 plus years ago. I know that things will get handled. And frankly, what do you disconnect just for what, 12 hours, 5 hours, 2 hours? When you open up that phone, there's 22 missed calls and 1,400 messages, and then you handle it. Priorities, you set the priorities. I think the biggest joy is being a real estate advisor, as I mentioned to you already, and to have access to such a client network. And at this stage of the game, of course, we have a luxury to choose. We have a luxury to choose who we want to work with and how we're going to work with them. But I think the biggest regret, you know, that I have, you know, when you build your business, the dynamics are very different. You don't really have a luxury to choose. You kind of basically take on pretty much almost everything to continue to build that business. And when I left one company and I moved to Douglas Elliman, cannot say that I started from scratch. but kind of it took me over a year to feel that my head is above the water again. And so I think the biggest thing for me, looking back, when we have to work with clients that are not realistic, okay, and kind of wasting our time, which by the way is part of business. There's nothing you can do. It's part of our business. But that time, it's not the money that lost, okay, because you can always make more. It's the time. And, you know, the longer we go through life and through our business careers, we realize that the time that we invested or wasted with unrealistic clients is we will never get that back. And that's the time that we could have spent with our parents, with our children. And so it is very important to really make a decision, conscientious decision. So that's exactly what happened to me in the last 2 years. As you know, my son moved to Florida because he had to be in the environment where he can continue to work, you know, and raise the bar and get better and prepare for college. And so I split my time between New York and Florida. It was very challenging to kind of sit with one tuition, two chairs, but we do things and we make decisions as parents and as professionals. And frankly, amazing things also came out of it. You know, I'm selling in Florida right now to my clients from New York. I'm able to extend the services. I'm able to extend my experience and expertise to my clientele, to my network of clients that already know me, trust me. And I kind of added another platform, if you will, and source of business and another market to my network. So I think that that's very important. But you're making these decisions on a daily basis, and you're making decisions what's good for you and your family at that given moment, and then you move on. And in terms of unrealistic clients, one of my, and it's not my thing, so I will acknowledge my dear friend who is a top broker in Los Angeles. Her name is Anita Rich. She told me many years ago, we were together at one of the conferences through Luxury Marketing Institute. She gave me an advice. She says, in life or business, when in doubt, always go to gratitude. Always go to gratitude. Everything shifts. Even the hardest, the toughest client that's giving you the most problems, it's a great problem to have.
Yes.
Great problem to have. So when you shift to gratitude, everything changes.
I love that. I want to open up in a moment to some of the questions, but first I just want to remind everyone the next meeting that we have is going to be on Wednesday, 9 a.m. On Zoom. I was going to say here, but in front of your computer. The topic is automated lead generation and lead management. It is going to be, you know, again, I am lead and technology agnostic. I'm trying to show everybody a methodology for being able to utilize some of the tools. Maria said it best, don't go running after the next shiny thing. It's not about changing, it's about adapting to the way that you best work. So perhaps you're going to hit the deals that Maria does, but maybe if you don't, you're going to do the best that you can do. You know, one of the things that's incredibly humbling about this business is you almost always find people that are much better than you. There's always people that have beat you. I mean, there's always that type of thing. So you really need to generate. Thank you, Daniel, for putting that link in the chat there. And he also put Maria's 3 M's. I see that. That's great. Let's open it up to some questions. I know we've got Samantha who had one. Unless Samantha, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, could you just tell everyone who you are?
Okay. Hi, so I'm Samantha Gornstein. I'm down here in South Florida with Douglas Elliman in Boca Raton. And I had a question about a client I'm working with right now. So this is a repeat client. I've done 3 deals with them before. We are in a position right now that they are, they're kind of wanting to cancel their contract with us for listing, and they do not want to pay the cancellation fee. So I'm just wondering how you think you would handle that.
And why are they, why? What's going on? What happened that all of a sudden they want to cancel the contract?
So I feel this is a hard time in Florida. It's a hard time to sell, and you know, for multiple reasons, it's just their property is not moving. And there is not a lot of interest.
And being familiar with the situation, yes, the property's not moving. And our understanding is that they believe that probably somebody could do a better job. And having done deals in the past, they've also, Samantha and I were talking about this. That's why I'm going full circle here. That they would like to, citing the 3 deals that they've done in the past and $100,000 in commissions off those 3 deals. They'd like to cancel without the company cancellation fee. How would you handle that scenario? Again, there's no wrong answer here. I'm just curious. And I'm glad Samantha asked it.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, first of all, how does it work in Florida in terms of cancellation fee? We don't have anything like that in New York. Typically, the contract is the contract, and it's very challenging for the client to cancel it, unless they go through a certain steps. To me, I think communication is the key. I think that if they're very eager to sell, it's a listing, correct?
Correct.
It's a client's seller. I would just go back again and, why are they selling? What's the urgency? And see what's that emotional kind of component and why they feel someone else will do a better job. To me, what I do every time, actually I do it every 30 days to be proactive, but a lot of times when I feel like that there's no showing, so I put together multiple pages with all the marketing, advertising, our clients, when there's no showing, so there's no offers or listing doesn't sell, they feel that we as brokers don't do anything because proof is in the pudding, but they have no idea all of the things that we actually do, starting with professional photography, videography, day shots, night shots, video, brochures, professional property description, Element magazine, Homes and Estates magazine, high-end magazine, whatever else you do, you must communicate each and every step of that to them. Also, and put it in writing, present it to them. I would call face-to-face meeting, and I would take them from their emotional kind of place in their home, and I would invite them to the office or meet them somewhere in a neutral grounds, okay? Then you present everything and say, okay, I did this, and that. So that's 1. 2, I would definitely print out analytics from online, because when we don't have physical showings, we have to see how the property performs on Zillow, on Trulia, on Realtor.com, on Element.com. Because to me, every physical showing, it's a second showing. So I always show to my clients, okay, so we didn't have any showing requests in the last 2 weeks. However, this is how well we performed online, which telling me that buyers are looking at us, because frankly, no one is coming to see properties anymore unless, they researched us online, they looked at everything, they know pretty much everything about the property. So to me, every physical showing is a second showing. So I kind of switch and put it in a positive, saying, okay, we had this many first showings or eyes online at least, okay? And now there's a way to convert this online showings into offline showings. Then also, when there's no request to show, host another broker open house, host a public open house, do something, and more importantly, continue to communicate to them that despite, let's say, no offers, this is what I'm doing. Once all of this is done, you call another meeting, and at the end of the day, we all know everything sells. It's just a matter of time and matter of price, correct?
Sure.
And 85% of marketing is pricing. Because if you adjust the price, to the market or hair below, that property will go. There's no question about it. So you can just tell them, look, in real estate, it's at the time of money. If you're really eager to sell in the next 30 days, then we have to be at this price point. But you cannot go to them immediately without doing all of the marketing things that I just mentioned. So you can tell them, I'm doing everything possible and more. I am fulfilling my commitment and more. But now you're in control. There are 3 things that sell every property. It's the location, it's the condition, and it's the price. Location you cannot control. I hope that location is amazing or not. I don't know. But you can control condition and the price. And price is in the hands of you as an advisor and the owner as the seller.
Sure. Beautiful answer.
Right.
I really like that. Let's open it up to everyone else. We've got a little while here, and I know you may have your questions. It's Maria Babaev. She's among the top agents in the country, let alone Long Island. So it's definitely somebody that if you've ever said, God, I really wish I could be a fly on the wall, this is your chance. You're more than a fly. You're actually a person talking to Maria here. So let's see if we can open this up. Nobody ever likes to be the second to ask questions. Jen, was that a hands up or you just rubbing your chin?
I was rubbing my chin, but I have a funny anecdote for Maria.
Okay, briefly, sure.
My best friend here in
Tell
Phoenix.
everyone who you are.
I'm Jen Coombe. I'm here in South Scottsdale, Phoenix, Arizona. I got my license about 6 months ago, so I'm fairly new. And things are not selling in Scottsdale either. It's the same issue, you know, like it's tough. It's a little tough right now here too. But anyway, my best friend here in Phoenix is Russian. She's a professor at ASU. And when I met her, her name is Margarita. And because we love to go have margaritas, we go out for happy hour a lot. I thought she chose that name because she like, it was like almost a year into our friendship before like I realized that was
her actual name.
her real name. Yeah, because it doesn't seem like a Russian name, and neither does Maria, right? You think, oh, Maria's not, but these are Russian names. But anyway, just a funny story.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Very nice. I love Scottsdale. I was just there a few months ago. Beautiful.
Oh, you were? Yes.
Yeah. Who else?
Thank you.
Opening. Lisa Murray has her hand raised. Another one from Arizona. Why don't you tell everyone who you are and where you are, Lisa? You got to unmute. Yeah.
Sorry, I was muted. Hi, Lisa Murray, Fountain Hills and Scottsdale, Arizona. This has been great, Maria, so far.
Thank
I
you.
have
Thank you, Lisa.
probably a little bit of an unusual question. I'm in 20 years in, and I switched from REIGNation in January to Russ Lyon Sotheby's to get back to Fountain Hills, which is a smaller community right next to Scottsdale, but it's where I live and it's where my primary market is. So I wanted to be back in an office in town. The struggle I'm having is it is a big team office and I'm an independent agent. The team split and divorced in the fall right before I joined. And now they are super competing against each other. And there's just a lot of division and I'm just struggling by myself trying to figure out how to navigate that and how to up my price point, all of it. This is a multifaceted question. So where would you start?
Yeah, I see that you have a lot going on. Number one, it would be challenging situation even if you've been with that office for years.
Agreed.
With the dynamics, I understand, but you just moved to a new company, so that creates even bigger challenge for you. I understand that. Lisa, to me, I would just concentrate on what I'm doing versus what other people are doing, okay? Again, go back to basics, go back to fundamentals. To me, I mean, I appreciate the fact that you're moving into a community and really want to make it your marketplace, but for me, I've been always successful in kind of expanding, maybe not too broad, but to me, I go where my clients are. If you moved from another area and you still have clients over there, I would certainly not dismiss that business, especially in today's shifting market. I would supplement that while I'm working on building my business in Fountain Hills. If you've been an individual agent for your entire career, I would assume that that's probably the way you intend to move forward. If you would like to get someone working with you, not necessarily as a partner, but maybe as a you can mentor someone in a way who can bring to your business perhaps if they're doing something differently on social media, because I know that those communities, and I have friends that are realtors in your area, mostly doing business in a very traditional way. So what I'm doing, I'm actually hiring younger generation to help me with that social media, because there's a lot of clients moving to Arizona right now from different parts of US, and they're looking online. They're not necessarily know or aware of that type broker or this type broker. They go online, and who is going to appeal to them online, that's probably who the business is going to go to. So to me, when I moved to a new company, you're starting your business somewhat from scratch. Of course, you already have a foundation, but when we first start in the business, we don't really start listing properties. We start working with buyers, correct? And if you do a great job, that buyer in the next 3 to 5 years becomes your seller. And then they buy a bigger property. And so to me, again, go back to where we started, you and I 20 years ago. I was a broker or agent working with buyers, hosting open houses for other big brokers in my office. And that's how I started, developing my business. So
I'm not sure they would let me hold that was kind of my thought when I joined the office. And then the office might be new, but I know all the agents. We've known each other for years. And in fact, one of the big team leaders was my very first broker 20 years ago at a different company. Yeah, I don't know, because they have their own team. They would probably have their team members hold open houses before they would give it to me.
Sure.
But since it's your community, hopefully you will be able to get a listing, from the neighbors or friends, or if you're involved in any social events. It's just a matter of time, continue, keep going, and you will certainly get the property listed. And that's how you're going to start developing your foundation in Fountain Hills. Don't get discouraged and don't get distracted by what's happening in the office. Just concentrate on what you're doing.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, thank you for that. That's really good. We've got time for just a couple more questions.
Kenny, I think Kenny has a question.
I'll get Kenny in 1 second, then we'll get Leslie in a second. Give me 1 second, Kenny, before you ask. Daniel, if you could get the members mapped ready for everyone, so you can put that into the chat, and I'm going to explain what that is after Kenny and Leslie. So go ahead, Kenny. Please say who you are and
Hi, Leslie, Kenny Bellini, Los Angeles, Southern California, in this business for a long time, both as an agent and a manager. I'm going to address a couple of things. One is to Samantha's problem, and even to help you guys, is like when we're in a situation when we're gonna, we market both to agents and the sellers.
Actually, Kenny, can you keep it as a question?
Sure.
We have such a limited time, and I know you have a lot to say.
Okay, well, do an executive review and agent review on the property. That's like, because if they're talking to competitors, bring them in there. I mean, you just neutralize your competition that way, for one. So if you're struggling with a client, that's a great tactic. I've moved around a couple of times. What's the best thing when you're moving offices besides your sphere to go to? I'm working in 2 different neighborhoods and I'm breaking into another neighborhood. What do you suggest doing?
Yeah, good question. How do you break into a new farm?
New market, yeah.
New market, new farm, yeah.
How do you break into new market? Again, the more things change, the more they stay the same. For me, what really worked is the, believe it or not, direct mail. You designate a certain area, 500 households, 1,000 households, and you continuously mail, and you mail them with the items of value. What's sold in the neighborhood, what's on the market in the neighborhood. You're offering them marketing consultation, and then you marry that with the posts online for the very same zip code, let's say. I mean, there's definitely tools and resources to do that on the social media. So my goal, anytime I do any type of marketing, I want to hit my clients or potential clients in 3 potential ways. 1 is in their mailboxes, 2 is in their inboxes, and also on their social media. Okay, and so every time I do a mailer, this will get married time-wise with the 2 other components. So then no matter where if they open up their inbox email, or if they open up their mailbox, they see my name and my face. And I think that that's And then hosting events, event marketing for me probably is the best, the most successful tool. I've seen people hosting meetups, little cocktails at the local kind of little restaurants or bars, inviting in neighborhood, and even if it's 5 people come or 10 people come, and then it continues to grow. You go to influencers, other businesses in the community, see if you can join forces. I think that's some of the tools that I would employ if I am going to move to the new area and start building business.
How much do you spend on your marketing, or what percentage? You could answer by percentage or dollar amount. I don't want to meddle too far in your personal business here.
I reinvest 25 to 30% back into my business.
Okay, so you see, she's owns it. I think it's important to see. Leslie, go ahead. You had a question as well. Tell everyone who you are and where you are, Leslie.
Hi, I'm Leslie Mitchell, and I'm in the greater Charlotte metro area, licensed in both North and South Carolina. And Maria, I wanted to ask you, a lot of people say they want to break into the luxury market. They want to raise their price point, or they really want to break into the luxury market. They also think that dealing with luxury people, they're dealing with different types, maybe more difficult, things like that. But as we all know, the saying, we all put our pants on the same way. What is your experience with dealing with that level of a price point and those people in that levels?
Great question, Leslie. I always say that I'm not in the price point business. I'm in real estate business. So to me, I never dismissed any price point, because the client who is, let's say, purchasing or purchased from me a few years ago, $500,000 or $700,000 home, a few years later is selling that for $1.1 million and purchasing something for $2 million, and it continues to go on and on and on. Look, I think it's individual specific. I feel across the board in any price range, clients, both buyers and sellers, are extremely educated, very informed, very savvy, very resourceful. So the biggest thing working with any client, and especially with the luxury consumer, is to be informed, to have more knowledge than they do, because I think the biggest challenge, we see clients coming to open houses knowing more about the properties or neighborhoods than the brokers that are hosting these open houses. So to me, education is the key. And education, no one needs to have more information. We are bombarded with information galore on so many different platforms and sources and resources. It's basically shifting, working with luxury clients is shifting from that brokerage mindset to the trusted advisor mindset, because they all have trusted advisors, attorneys, accountants, wealth managers. And so when you shift that mindset and you just help them not provide more information, but how to apply that information to their specific situation, that's what's going to elevate you as a real estate professional and a trusted advisor when you're working with the luxury segment.
Sure.
Thank you.
That said, again, without telling us what you make, what's the largest deal you've ever done? Is that too personal, or can you, I see a face. I don't know if I've got it.
Well, I've had a handful of properties that I sold in the $20+ million price range.
That's great. That's great. So yeah, I mean, again, and the smallest I know has been very small. You said the top producers, guys, they're top producers because they are, I'll call them professional people. At the end of the day, what I've always loved about Maria is she really doesn't veer away. You just can't change that personal brand. And fortunately, it resonates with the community that she built. And for those of you who are wondering how to actually get in with a certain 500 homes, and I really wish you would, of course, you're talking to a farmer here. I've got 728 of the most magnificent homes here in South Florida. Fortunately for me, I'm the poorest guy in the wealthiest neighborhood, which is a great way to be. And everyone here knows me. Why? I started St. Andrew's Members. It is a private Instagram page for the members that live here and their adult kids. I've got 250 people in that Instagram group. But Ed, 250 people on Instagram, that's nothing. Bullshit. It's a lot. It's an awful lot because at the end of the day, these are people that are the decision makers in my area. What else are they doing? They're getting a weekly email report from me, which we're producing for our clients, by the way, as well, in case you're interested. They get a physical snail mail from me. So they get that at least once a month. They get invited to, we're supposed to have a cocktail party at one of our listings here. Unfortunately, there's a little leak in the kitchen, so I don't know if we're going to be able to do that next week. Daniel, let's talk about that. But we really own that territory, just as Maria. And does it sell? What was the thing that actually got the client? I don't know. I just know that when I walk into the clubhouse, every single person knows who I am. I'm famous to the 728 homes, and I want you to be famous to all your homes. We've got just a couple more minutes before we get to wants, needs, and brags. Any other questions for Maria? Maria, you were great. This has been a really great.
Thank you. Thank you all. I really appreciate the opportunity. I thank you.
But anyone else want to get some stuff in here? Okay, let me just show you this. This is the members mapped. And for all the members here, I want to just show you why it's important to get your photo and bio to Daniel. These are the different members that we have in different parts of the country. Isn't that fun? There's Rafi Bass. Everyone knows and loves Rafi. Oh, there's Tammy. She's here today. So we've got different people. If you want to get onto that, you could please, Daniel's going to put his email address on the chat here. And you can see we have a lot of members that are not in here because they just haven't given us the stuff. And that's why I try to mention at least every couple meetings to please send it to us. It's part of what we do. We want, everyone's curious. It's kind of fun to be able to see where people are in different parts of the country. Up there's Lavette. She's in the meeting too today. So give us your bio and your photograph, and we'll get you onto that map. And you could just click here in the chat to see the map. You should save it. And as you need to network and meet one another, decide where the lines of business come from. One of my buckets of business are people like you, realtors from out of state. It should be all of your efforts. It should be all of your efforts to be able to try and do that. Okay, that was the plea from the moderator here. Wants, needs, and brags. Now's the time for you to talk about what you want, what you need, and what you really care to brag about. It could be about your kid getting into college. It could be about a charity. It could be about beating a sickness. Somebody came in here and talked about beating cancer, and we were all cheering for them. This is a time to be able to blast it out. Nobody wants to be first, but who's going to be bold enough to tell us something? Okay, Leslie. Very brief.
After 3 months with my broken foot, I now have been cleared to drive.
Ta-da.
So I can get out and see clients and be more independent and host open houses and all good things like that.
You never appreciate the value of a foot till you lose the ability to use it. Ain't that the truth? You know,
truth.
we change one thing. It's, it doesn't change who you are. At least it shouldn't. But I'm glad you really said that. Who else has something? Congratulations on that, Leslie. That's a big one. I like that. Who else has something they want to throw out to the group? Anyone? Anyone? Anyone?
I'm about to switch brokerages.
Okay.
I interviewed with a really great, very small local brokerage here in Old Town Scottsdale, and I think I'm going to do really well.
Good.
There.
That's the name of the game. That's great. Get psyched. Let us know how things go. Post on the REIGNation page. Take these relationships beyond just this meeting, and you're going to be able to see just both the advice and peer support is just fantastic. We all come from different walks of life, but what's amazing to me is that the problems that Maria has with her clients up north are the same problems that I have here and the same problems that you have. And by the way, it doesn't change from price point. That's the secret that the top producers know. Because again, somebody said, who said the one leg in the pants at a time? I guess it was Leslie, maybe. Yeah, well, Leslie said that. It's really true. Human nature hasn't changed. That's why Shakespeare is relevant today. Okay, who else? Anyone else? Okay. Guys, I want to thank everyone for coming. Again, a reminder, we've got automated lead generation and management on Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to be adding our July dates for everyone to see and be able to utilize. If you're curious about what the one-on-one and group coaching that we actually have, please, please, please do reach out to me. And Maria, any final thoughts? No, maybe?
Just again, thank you. Thank you for your time, for your dedication, for what you do for the real estate community. I admire you and your contribution. And I just want to thank everyone for their time. And I hope some of the things that I shared were, helpful, and you will be able to apply to your own businesses, and health, wealth, and prosperity to all.
Amen. I really love that. Thank you so much. I love this. Let me see if I can make a heart here. Oh yeah, there we go. How do you like that? I got the little hearts now. So, so thank you so much, everyone. Great to see everyone. If you have questions, do reach out to me, and have a great weekend. Take care, all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.